What's going on, guys? Welcome to mikeybalzz Fishing. As you can see, I'm adapting to my new environment. It's a little bit chilly up here. Thank you, Tackle Warehouse. Nice warm hats, because it's not as warm as I'm used to in Florida, but actually it's not bad. It's nothing compared to where I grew up. Up in Wisconsin, dude, freezing. Like, this is pretty mild. It's actually kind of nice. I see the leaves changing. Haven't seen that in absolutely like years. It's been a long time since I've seen the leaves change. But we're at the new house. We are in Alabama. You saw the video title talking about shading. Throwing some shade. Don't throw shade on me, bro. Well, here's the deal. I have my new sea map, and I have the chip for Alabama. And you guys ask a lot about like how I'm using the graphs, how you can like hedge technology to be more productive, more efficient on the water. So I'm going to show you a little trick that I'm going to use. I don't know anything. I know a little bit, but I know very little about the lakes that are around me that I'm going to fish. Some of those lake examples are Smith Lake, like Gunnersville, Pickwick, Wilson, Chickamauga. But I do know a couple basic things. For instance, I know some basic depth levels where fish will hold. Basically, like, I know the window or the section of depths that could be productive. So what I'm going to do is, there's a function on this sea map that actually allows me to do some different kinds of highlighting and do some custom highlighting, and there's like a quick toggle between two different custom highlights. I want to walk you through that and how I'm going to use it and how I'm going to use it to identify just productive water and be more efficient. Like, in the end, you know, all of us, dude, I don't care if you're a professional fisherman or if you're somebody like me who gets to get out on the weekends, if you get like 1 or 2 days a month, if you get 1 day every like 2 months, like, you need to be efficient on the water, because you want to go out there and take the best, most advantage. That was great grammar, Mike. The best, most advantage of the little bit of time that you have on the water, because we all want to catch fish. We want to bend the rods. That's why we love, you know, the sport. That's why we spend money on fishing rods, boats, warm hats from Tackle Warehouse, so that we're not freezing out there. But we want to be efficient. We want to take advantage of every minute that we have on the water. So I'm going to put my lowrance on here real quick and get my sea map booted up. So we're going to take a pause for a second. I'm going to switch to this. Make sure you like and subscribe. mikeybalzz Fishing. I mean, why not, man? I'll joke with you, I'll play with you, I'll show you some big fish if I can catch them, try to show you some things that I learned. Come on, throw me that like, throw me that subscribe. We're trying to get the channel up to 100K, dude. I don't know if it's going to happen, but you know what? I want to think positively. I want to grow it. Your support will make that happen. I got to put a graph on there so we can run through this little tutorial walkthrough, so stay tuned. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't even reach across this. So we got Lake Gunnersville right here. The sea map chip is right in here. I've already done a little bit of adjustments, but I want to tweak a little of the stuff that I've done, and I want to show you how I'm going to approach it. Because really, when it comes down to it, there's kind of two genres of lakes where I'm at. Now, obviously, if like I was fishing all over the United States, there'd be a million different, but there's basically two genres. There's the TVA lakes, so it's Gunnersville, Pickwick, Wilson, and you know, each one is a little bit unique, but they're generally alike. So Gunnersville, Wilson, Chickamauga, Pickwick, you know, the depths are going to be pretty much alike. The one kind of like outside factor that's like an hour and 5 minutes away is Smith Lake. So that one's a lot deeper. Fish is deeper. It's not one of the TVA lakes. It's a little different setup, and that's why we're going to need these two custom depth shading palettes in order to accommodate. So we're not always like changing the shading, which is annoying. So what we're going to do is, I got Gunnersville right here. I'm going to scroll on in, see if we can pick it up here. There we go. So I have some basic shading done already, but I want to kind of tweak it a little bit. So let's walk you through the process real quick of what you're just going to do in general, and then we'll talk about the tweaks. So what you're going to do is, you're going to go to chart options. You're going to go to view, and then you're going to go to shading. And you'll see right here you have depth 1, depth 2. So basically those are like two toggle switches. Let's watch what they do here. So here we're on depth 1, depth 2. Wow, changes it quite completely. And you can turn them both on at the same time, one or the other, turn them both off, go back to the same, like the traditional paper map kind of deal. Actually, that's fun. Okay, so that's what it looks like without it. Okay, so it's pretty basic in that you do see some changes. So what I want to achieve is I want more of a definition between the breaks that actually matter to me. So on the TVA lakes, and this is what I've read generally and what's been told to me, it's very important that you kind of know like 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and then sometimes 20 to 25 depending where you are. But once you get about 25, for bass fishing that is, smallmouth spotted and that, you're good, dude. Like, you're really not going to do much deeper than that. I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to go catch fish in like 32 feet of water and have to reshoot everything. But here's what I did so that I'm looking at that water that's most productive, is I went and created a custom palette. We're going to go take a look at it right here. So view, shading. There we go. So I changed it and made it a little more darker. As you guys, if you've watched the videos, I'm more of a contrast guy. I need like heavy contrast in order to pick stuff up. And you can see when I turn this off, there's a lot more contrast in my color palette compared to their color palette. The other thing that you're going to see when I turn on my color palette that I've made for, and this is going to be what I'm going to call my TVA color palette, you can see that once we get deeper than 20 feet or so, let me scroll on in here, it's that super dark blue. You can see, let me get some, there we go. So we get down to like 19, 20, and then once it breaks off, I think deeper than 20 feet, which I need to adjust in a second, you get that dark blue. Why did I do that? Because, to be perfectly frank, I have no idea where the hell I am on the lake. So I'm a fresh runner. Like, I don't know where to run. One of the few, obviously there's going to be stumps, there's going to be gravel bars, there's turns. You never want to run totally off your graph's map. But what I do want the map to show me is the safest, deepest water to run. And that's the only kind of true factor that you can have, is the deepest water is usually going to be pretty safe to run. Obviously, the river channel comes through in that. There's a few of these creek channels that come up with that deeper, dark kind of blue that shoot off of there. I'm going to be able to recognize that because it's a very high contrast compared to some of these shallower water features that we have on here. So I can see where I can put the boat and feel safe. But let's make a little change here, and this will be an opportunity to show you kind of the change that I can make. I want to extend and put a 25-foot kind of section. I want to just separate that a little bit from that super deep kind of dark blue, so that just in case we do get some fish in that 20 to 25 range, I can kind of separate those contours. So let's go to menu, and actually we're going to scroll in to make sure the changes that we make actually show up in one way or another. This will be a good example because there's a small creek right there. You can see all the crazy detail on this new sea map as well. It's actually supposed to be like very comparable to the Lake Master chip. Like a direct competitor, because it actually shows everything. So we're going to go to chart options, view, we're going to go to shading, and then we're going to hit custom. Alright, so we have, you can see what I've done here. I've done 5 to 10, 10 to 12. Oh, actually I did it. Wow, I'm smarter than I think. 10 to 12, that's kind of a key deal because that 10 to 12 tends to be like a ledge section range. We'll talk about it in the summer, but I was smarter than I thought. So 10 to 12, 12 to 15, and then 15 to 20, and then we're going to add a point in here, and we're going to go depth 25. Ooh, no, we're going to go not 25,000 feet. We're not fishing quite that. That would be some truly offshore fishing. So we're going to go 25 feet, hit enter, and then we want to change that color ever so slightly. I got to figure out which ones that I used. Actually, here's what we're going to do. We're going to change our super deep stuff to this guy. And then we're going to change this to that. So boom, boom, boom. And we're at 50% opacity. Then we're going to change this guy to boom. We're going to hit OK. And then take a look at what we see. I like that a lot. So I adjusted and added another depth range, that 20 to 25 foot range, which I think is going to be important on some of these lakes. Not all of them. I know Wilson Fish is a little bit shallower, usually 0 to 25 feet is going to be my most important depth ranges. So I have all of those segmented off, and then I have them segmented in kind of like 5 foot, segments, but I do this one where I kind of break up that in between, which is going to come in handy in ledge season and if it gets super cold during the winter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this joker off and take a look. Do you see that? How cool is that? You can see we got the down to 20s. and it's shaded just slightly differently, but at the same time, I have a super high contrast look at that extra deep water. So I know exactly where to run, I know exactly where it's located, but I can see kind of like that variation of where it's not super duper deep. Oh, this is awesome. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So you getting bored yet? I hope not. I hope not at all. We got Lewis Smith Lake right there. This is the second thing. I'll make this a little bit quicker because now you guys understand the basic concepts of the throwing some shade on your lake maps, on your depth maps, and that. I'm using the C map. It's the one I like, but it's the killer chip for Alabama. But check this out. So we're gonna go check out Smith Lake. And actually, I got some waypoints. I already found some brush piles out there. Here's the problem with Smith Lake. Smith Lake is a lot deeper, and it fishes a lot deeper than your general TVA lakes. 0 to 25 feet at Smith Lake, obviously, is like very quick. Look how quick it goes. These are like little creek channels. Like, check that out, dude. Like, that's like super duper fast. Like, and then we're out to like 65, 30, I mean, like crazy, crazy depths. So what does that mean? That means the depth contours that we made for our TVA lakes, when I go to Smith Lake, I'm going to have to redo everything because you need different segments, you need more segments, you need to diversify because you're not going to be able to efficiently kind of cancel out water, understand what water is where by using that palette. So we're going to create a second custom palette. I'm going to show you just a few basics. We're going to do a simple basic, maybe like 0 to 50 foot kind of thing just to take a look at what it does. So let's go ahead and let's hit menu. And once again, we're going to go to, what is it, shading. And we're going to turn off our original depth palette. See, and you see even with the traditional base map, like this is the C map base map, but with the traditional paper map look, it's still kind of like blah a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my depth customization thing too. Get the idea? But we're going to turn that on, then we're going to hit custom. So once again, this one's preset a little bit, so 510, da-da-da-da-da. Actually, we got to make sure we're on the right one. I don't want to change. You toggle over it. So that's depth 1. That's my first one that I'm using for the TVA. This is the one that's on right now. So it's kind of blah. So 0, 40, 80, those need to change. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use the general palette that's already there, but I'm going to take a little different approach. So I'm going to put in 005. There I go again, trying to fish offshore. 5. Hit OK. Okay, cool. So I changed that. Now we're at 5 feet. I'm going to make this 10 feet. 0, 0, 1, 0. Okay. Now, Smith Lake does have a lot of depth contours, so I'm not going to do my little 12-foot deal. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to jump up to 15 foot and put it at 5-foot increments. 0, and I screwed it up again. 0, 0, 0, 1, 5. Okay, there we go. Hit OK. All right, and what are we at? 20. 0, 0, 0. 20. All right, cool. And I think we're gonna add 25. So 0, 0, 0, 25. All right, okay. Now it's gonna get fun because now we're gonna start playing with some different colors too, and this is when it'll get kind of interesting. So we are at 30. 0, 0, 0, 30. Here's where we need to add a color. Let's start doing. What do you want to do here? Yellow is fun, isn't it? Let's go ahead and let's do yellow. Here's what I'm going to do, though. Some of these colors are a little overpowering sometimes when you're looking at them, and that's why that opacity thing is so nice. So I'm going to actually take the opacity. I'm going to turn it down to 50 on that yellow, and I'm going to do that for all. Actually, I'm going to turn a little bit higher than that, maybe 70. But I'm going to do that for all the yellows that we're using because otherwise it's going to eat my eyeballs out. You can do whatever you want, but that's personal for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more points in here so we can kind of see a difference. We're at 35 feet, 0, 0, 0, 3, 5, okay. And we're just going to jump to our next yellow, which is that guy right there. We're on our way to orange. We're going to change the opacity to 70. All right, don't know if I like that. We're going to change that back. Got to make sure we're getting a difference here. There we go. All right, so we were at 35, so we're at 40 feet. And I think we're going to start seeing contours change at this point, which will be kind of an interesting deal. We're going to leave the opacity on there, and we'll put in one more point at 55. So, ooh, not 550. I really am trying to fish offshore here, and we're going to change that to. I think we're at red, which we are going to change the opacity down a little bit. All right, so we have this guy laid out. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at what it looks like here. Very nice. So what we can see now is we have a better idea of where the main lake creeks are. We have a better idea of how these flats break down because we broke them down into 5-foot increments. You can even see here too, I got a couple brush piles up here, and I basically went and I caught one spotted bass, but I found some brush piles, and you can see how they're kind of lined up on the points. We'll just scroll in on here, but you can see how they're kind of lined up on some of these breaks and some of these turns and these depth lines. Kind of interesting, huh? It's a gravel bar right there. It's kind of cool. But what you're getting is you can see the deeper portions of some of these creeks. You can see where the flats are. Wow, that's crazy right there. Some of these turns, some of these like just interesting kind of structural features that are going to lead your way to, you know, suspended fish. They're going to lead your way to brush piles, people dropping stuff out there, the better docks, you know, where some of these creek turns are. It just shows more. Now, I don't have this tweaked as much as I would like. I need to play around with it from a color standpoint, because just like when we turn our graphs on different kind of like colors to use them, and it varies from person to person. Everybody's eye is a little bit different, and the different backgrounds work better for different people's eyeballs. Like I used to love that blue on the lowrance for the structure scan. And like that was the ideal. But at the same time, like one of my really good buddies who knows offshore fishing like nobody else, he loves that brown. And he sees it better. So it's all how you see things. And that's why this custom shading is important. You can basically make the map look the way it's best to trigger your eyeballs. And you're super more efficient. There I go, using great English. Super more efficient. Be super more efficient. That actually sounds powerful. Be super more efficient, because you can isolate shallower water. Look at that down there. Isn't that cool? Hey, check this out. You got these kind of like swirling, like little cut-ins, like divots, or almost like little ditches that come in. That is crazy. This map's going to need more depth lines. But basically it allows you to X out some dead water. It allows you to be more efficient on the water. You can look at the water in a more informed way, and that information, the coloration helps you process that, like the large amount of information that you have, and you can just be more efficient and use your time on the water better. And that's kind of what we talked about. But if you got any questions for me, I know this was a long tutorial, but I wanted to walk you through the process. I think it's pretty simple. We did it a couple times. You can have your different custom palettes, because not everyone just fishes one lake all the time, and every lake is going to be a little bit different. There's different types of lakes, like, you know, Guntersville, Pickwick, and that fall into one category. But, you know, then you have your Smith Lake that I'm going to be near, which is a little bit deeper, and it has different kind of contours that you need to adapt your map to. So it allows you to be adaptable, allows you to address the different waters that are around you, and the biggest key is efficiency. Efficiency. That's the most important part of the game. Hope you like this tutorial, though. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out C-Maps. This is the Alabama chip. And check out Shading. If you got any questions, throw them down in the description box. And as usual, guys, thanks for your support. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we're out for now. All right, peace.